Is The Last of Us ending next season? Critics weigh in. Could The Last of Us be wrapping up its story next season? This question is buzzing through fan forums and critical circles alike, sparking intense debates about the show's future direction. When HBO's adaptation of The Last of Us premiered in 2023, it quickly earned critical acclaim. However, after 2 seasons and a significant character departure, the uncertainty around Season 3 has many curious about what lies ahead. According to Casey Bloys, the head of HBO Max, Season 3 is indeed on the horizon, scheduled for 2027. But whether it will be the final chapter is still up for grabs. As Bloys mentioned in an interview with Variety, the show's executive producer Craig Mazin is currently weighing his options. 2 more seasons or a single, extended finale. It hasn't been decided yet, and I'm following Craig's lead on that, Bloys stated. This uncertainty has divided opinions among fans and critics. Some view it as a wise decision, potentially allowing the series to conclude on a high note. Others fear that cutting the story short could leave unresolved questions and unfinished arcs hanging in the air. The original video game presented a tightly woven narrative with a clear emotional journey, which Season 1 closely followed. Season 2, however, took a different turn, introducing an ensemble cast led by Ellie and Abby after Joel's early exit. With the 3rd act of the game yet to be adapted, Mazin faces a challenging choice: maintaining the pacing of the game over multiple seasons or condensing the remaining plot into one cohesive finale. Games Radar Plus hints at the pressure on the showrunners, suggesting they have a good understanding of the narrative challenges ahead. They might possess the storytelling prowess to tackle these issues effectively. However, there are concerns that compressing the remaining arcs could backfire, leaving viewers feeling unsatisfied. One Screen Rant reviewer expressed disappointment with Season 2's conclusion, citing issues with pacing and character perspective shifts. The transition from focusing on Ellie to Abby in particular has sparked controversy. On Reddit and within critic circles, there's a palpable discomfort with how Season 2 ended. Some argue that Ellie's decision to spare Abby was illogical and disrespectful to the game's integrity. One Reddit user commented, "Ellie sparing Abby in the way she did not only doesn't make sense, but it's practically disrespectful to what's otherwise a very good game." Another thread added, "Ruining the ending of what was otherwise a great game by trying to capitalize on a future product is lazy and below Naughty Dog. But it feels like that's what they did." Another potential pitfall, highlighted by a viewer on Decider, is the risk of stretching the story too thin. With the cast reportedly unaware of the script details, the future is uncertain. If Season 3 extends over 2 more years, it could mean waiting another 2.5 years for a deeper dive into Abby's storyline, with much of the Season 2 cast likely having moved on by then. Wrapping up Ellie's journey afterward would add another layer of delay. Even Mazin himself hasn't provided a definitive timeline. At a press event in May, he avoided answering directly whether Season 3 would follow the second half of the game, but acknowledged the complexity of completing the narrative. "There's no way to complete this narrative in a 3rd season," he suggested, keeping the possibilities open. So what do you think? Should The Last of Us conclude with its next season, or does it need more time to fully explore its characters and storylines? Share your thoughts in the comments. The Last of Us Season 3, 2027 release confirmed. Is this the end? The Last of Us Season 3, a potentially final chapter on the horizon. HBO's chief executive, Casey Bloys, has officially announced that Season 3 of The Last of Us is set to premiere in 2027. This revelation not only establishes a timeline for the eagerly awaited next installment, but also hints that it could mark the conclusion of the series. In light of the mixed reviews surrounding the 2nd season, along with the departure of Neil Druckmann, the franchise's original creator, Bloys expressed his unwavering confidence in showrunner Craig Mazin. He believes that Mazin is more than capable of steering the series forward, even with the changes in the lead cast. The future of the series remains somewhat ambiguous, as Bloys mentioned that there is a chance The Last of Us could wrap up its narrative by 2027. The series is definitely planned for 2027, he stated in an interview with Variety, skillfully sidestepping the question of whether the show would return for the 2026 to 2027 television season or beyond. Craig Mazin, is still figuring out whether we will have 2 more seasons or just 1 extended season," he added. "No final decision has been made yet, and I'm following Craig's direction on this matter." In a significant shift, HBO has confirmed that Kaitlyn Dever will take center stage in Season 3, stepping into the spotlight following the exit of Pedro Pascal's character, Joel, and a diminishing focus on Bella Ramsey's Ellie. This change raises an intriguing question. Will the transition in lead actors, especially after the success of the first season, pose a challenge for the series? "Not from a marketing standpoint," Bloys replied confidently. "The title benefits greatly from its video game origins, and the first 2 seasons have established a solid foundation. I actually admire shows that approach their narratives from a fresh perspective." While HBO's adaptation has largely remained faithful to the original game, the decision to elevate Kaitlyn Dever's character, Abby, to a leading role was somewhat anticipated. However, fans were taken aback by Neil Druckmann's exit following the Season 2 finale. "Having Neil involved from the start was invaluable," Bloys remarked. "The reason I was eager to pursue The Last of Us was that after Chernobyl, I asked Craig what he wanted to tackle next, and The Last of Us was his choice. Craig's creative enthusiasm for the project was paramount, and Neil's contributions were fantastic." In a recent social media post, Druckmann announced his intention to refocus his efforts on Naughty Dog's upcoming project, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. "Many people may not realize that Neil has a demanding full-time role in creating video games and managing Naughty Dog," Bloys concluded. "It's a significant responsibility, and I completely understand his need to concentrate on that. However, I believe he has provided us with a solid framework for the show. With Craig at the helm, I am confident we will be in excellent hands. I have no concerns whatsoever." What are your thoughts on the changes coming to The Last of Us? Do you think the series can maintain its momentum without its original creator? Share your opinions in the comments below. ***. Tom Phillips serves as the news editor for IGN. You can reach him at tom_Phillips at IGN.com or connect with him on Blue Sky at tomphillipseg.bsky.social. The Last of Us Season 3 release date confirmed. Abby's story and future plans. The suspense is palpable. When will the curtain fall on HBO's The Last of Us? In a revealing conversation with Variety, HBO's content chief Casey Bloys shared insights into the anticipated timeline for the series' continuation, pinpointing 2027 as the target year for Season 3's debut. Yet, the burning question remains: will this be the series' final act? Bloys left this tantalizingly open, deferring to series creator Craig Mazin's vision, who is still weighing whether to wrap up the saga in 1 extended season or perhaps stretch the narrative across 2 more seasons. But here's where it gets controversial. The decision is still up in the air, and the direction they choose could significantly impact how the story unfolds. The Last of Us, a gripping adaptation of the popular video game franchise, has captured audiences with its intense storytelling and complex characters. The series' 2nd season, which drew heavily from the 2020 video game The Last of Us Part 2, only covered about half of the game's expansive and intricate plot. This season focused on Ellie's quest for vengeance, a journey that brought depth and darkness to her character. Looking ahead, Season 3 promises to shift its lens towards Abby, the game's other protagonist, suggesting a reduced presence for Ellie in the upcoming episodes. This pivot in perspective is not just a narrative choice but a reflection of the game's structure, where Abby becomes a central figure in the latter half. Craig Mazin has openly expressed that concluding the series within a 3rd season is unfeasible, hinting at a potential 4th season to bring closure to the epic tale. This statement alone sets the stage for discussions about the series' pacing and development. Amidst these future plans, a significant development shook the production team. Neil Druckmann,